Welcome back to Absolutely PlayStation Esteemed Gamers. My name is Benny. I am joined by Houston and Shank. And today we're going to be talking about our first experiences with the game Riders Republic. And if you want to join the Absolute Army, consider pressing that like button, smashing that subscribe button, and hitting the notifications, turning them on, as we would greatly appreciate that. Now, you may notice something a little different today. We're actually put up gameplay for this game. So that is going on in the background, and it's my attempt at a couple of the funky courses, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and then doing a Red Bull downhill challenge. So that's the gameplay happening right now. I filmed it right prior to this. So let's go with our initial impressions. Houston, what do you think about Riders Republic?
It lets me be the mountain biker I want to be, but will never be. The big thing is I can go off those massive jumps and not worry about killing myself like I probably would if I was to do this in real life.
Right.
Because if you guys don't know, I do enjoy mountain biking. Me and Ben go out quite often. But I would never do courses like this because it tears the ever-living crap out of me just being on the course in a video game.
There are more realistic courses that Huey and I would do that are in this game, but yes, he's right. There's a lot of jumps. Shank, you don't traditionally play these kinds of games, and if you did when you were a kid, I get it, but like more recently, because this is a part of a series that Ubisoft's been putting out. So what do you think about it?
I did play The Crew 2, and this is very similar to that, and just the way the gameplay works. It's being able to switch out and back and forth between different types of events is similar to the way that you could switch between different types of racing types in that game. This game was a lot of fun. It's not my cup of tea personally, but I definitely can see how people could get lost in this game for a really long time. I mean a really long time.
That's what happened to me in the one that was prior to this, Steep, which I'm going to do a lot of comparisons to, because the same guy, this is basically Steep 2. But they didn't want to just throw snowboards back out there and just be like, it's another mountain. Because they did that with DLCs. This is supposed to be their mountain bike thing. But yeah, no, this is the kind of game that I get on and I veg when I have nothing else going on and I just really want to play, just veg out and go crazy. And I think, and I told Houston this, it might have partially to do with the fact that Houston and I recently got, so I snowboard and I mountain bike. And I've done it for quite a few years now, but Houston just recently got into it with me. So having a buddy made going mountain biking that much more easier and more attainable. Cause we're going to go mountain biking. So I don't know if it's that made me like super hooked into this immediately. Cause we do mountain bike so much, but I got really hooked on just riding around in the open world, which is incredible in this game. I love the open world in this game.
Oh, the open world is fantastic. And I think they did something great with this game. The way they populate the open world, you know that not everybody who's online is an actual person playing right at that moment.
You could turn that off too.
I would never turn that off because just having those shadows of other people who had been playing, basically they just saved the data cache and just playing it over while you're playing, it just makes the entire open world feel so alive. Everybody's all there with you doing all these different events. Everybody's riding from one place to another. I love it. Also, I love the physics in this game. The ragdoll physics, just watching people occasionally fly in front of you and their body just bounce off the ground. It cracks me up every time. I love it.
That is actually one thing I was going to bring up. So as someone who played Steep felt empty at all times. And I play a lot of racing games. I play a lot of these Tony Hawk games. I play a lot of the snowboard games and these kind of games. And I can't remember the last time that real players populated things. I've gone against the ghosts a ton. So it's there's a ton of ghosts to take on in most games, but there's no collision with the ghosts, which is always a big thing. You can go right through cars, right through other snowboarders. And you're right, they don't populate it properly. Even if you turn off the ghosts, the game feels alive because there's so many real people around me when I play that it just feels alive.
I've noticed.
I mean, Houston, you played Steep a lot with me.
Yeah,
what do you
it was
think about
empty.
the increase in people?
It was empty AF. But now, so at first when I turned the ghost off, I'm like, this is terrible. The world's empty. I don't see anybody. But then I keep playing, and it realizes, all right, he's over here, so let's put him in a server with people who are over here.
Right.
So the other side of the map, if you look, looks empty. But where I am,
So-
it's full, and I have people around doing the same challenges I'm doing, which sometimes is annoying. Like when I'm trying to tightrope over the Grand Canyon, and a person just zooms by me and scares the crap out of me, and I fall into my death, and boom. But yes.
Were you fast traveling a lot, like from one side of the map to another? Because that might have.
I will fast travel if there's something else I want to do, but not.
That might have
not
added to
from
why
one
everything
to
looked
another.
so empty.
It's not from one to another very often. I'll head to like, all right, I'm gonna go do all these challenges over here. So now I'm over there for like an hour doing challenges like riding over the Grand Canyon or being in a spider or a flying squirrel wingsuit as I'm going through tight loops and things that would kill me in real life.
Yeah. I have actually fast traveled a ton. They gave us 20 of those free helicopter tokens, and I've been using them to go all over the world and collect all the landscape points and stuff like that. And I don't have too many problems, but I also warp into areas that you would think would be empty. I feel like it heavily populates areas with real players or areas where people would normally be biking. Like if you go to the far off reaches, you don't really see too many people. So I think it might be have to do with where you are.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. So if I'm just out biking, nowhere, I won't see anybody. But say I'm trying to head to a landmark, people start randomly spawning in, and I'm seeing them more and more. So
yeah. But let's talk about that real quick. So the open world in this is what I think, like, so we just played Tony Hawk Remaster, which is a blast. I love playing Tony Hawk. But one thing I liked about this and one thing I loved about Steep is that what they go with the Ubisoft general mentality of like, here's an open world for you to go find things to do. And while I get annoyed at that in games like Far Cry or even Assassin's Creed to an extent, I feel like it really hits with like a snowboard game or a mountain bike game, because part of like being out there, part of like mountain biking and snowboarding is just being out with nature and being out in the wilderness that you would never expect. I've come across bears and deer in this game, and like you feel like you're in the woods. What do you guys feel about the open world thing? Huey, why don't you go first for this one?
I think it's really good at times, though. It doesn't feel right because it's a mountain biking game. I'm at the bottom of the mountain now. I'm screwed. You're not biking up that mountain. The game purposely tries to not let me bike up that mountain. I've had this happen a few times where I'm like, all right, I missed my objective. I'm going to just try to get up there a little bit. The camera does not want to turn that way, where I'm facing up the mountain.
You're not supposed to go up a mountain. You've
I
been
know
on
you're
mountain
not.
bikes. We don't go
I know
up
you're
mountains.
not supposed to go up a mountain, but sometimes I want to go up the mountain, okay? I want to do stuff I wouldn't do in real life, like push myself up a mountain.
But
Well,
they did
Shank, I gotta feel-
actually
yeah.
put something into the game for that, which is the jetpack, which I thought the jetpack really added a lot to the open world traversal system. Like I loved using that jetpack whenever I was like not even going to races. There was probably a solid half an hour, 45 minutes where I didn't do any races whatsoever. I just put that jetpack on and I just started flying around. I felt like Iron Man, just like going from one spot to another, collecting all the collectibles in the open world and seeing some of the different like photo spots that they have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the game's beautiful. I didn't realize there was wildlife in the game.
There is, and you'll come across it. You'll hear them growl if you get too close. It's actually pretty cool. And what I was going to mention, the jetpack's great, but there's also the funkies. So like you could have a rocket-powered bicycle, you could have a rocket-powered skis, or you could have a snowmobile. And I actually prefer those over what you would do, Shane, because I just roll across the ground and like the jetpack bicycle. Whee!
I feel like I like the jetpack too, and I've been using it, but it kind of cheeses the game some with some of these harder to find relics, because it's like, all right, I've launched myself all the way into the air, and now I just dive bomb straight down, crash, get right back up, and I'm at this relic that was hidden in a spot.
I don't disagree with you. It does feel kind of
yeah.
cheesy, but it's also a third of the game.
It is part of the game, and it's fun. I agree fully.
That was one of the big issues with the Crew, honestly. When I loved the Crew 1, when they did Crew 2 and you could freely go into a plane, it ruined the game for me. Because they had a playlist system, so I didn't have to go anywhere on the map. And then if I did have to go on the map, I would just turn into a plane and fly over there. The Crew 1 was great because I had to drive to the location. So maybe that's why I like not using the jetpack. Because I feel like I don't need to in this game. While in the Crew 2, all of you guys were ditching me using it. So I had to use it.
You probably don't need it. I would agree 100% with that. You don't need it. I found it fun to do in the open world, particularly, like I said, because I love the ragdoll physics of this. I would never land with my parachute. I would just speed into the ground as fast as possible.
It's
and see how far
faster,
my
too.
body would bounce.
It's faster.
I mean, for the record, if the video that should be playing right now, I don't know what scenes have been placed in, but to get to each objective, I was jetpacking directly into it like a missile, bouncing off the ground and just hitting Q in.
I love it. I love it. It's fantastic. It's the best way to enter a race.
That's what I was doing. I just bounce right off in front of him, be like, and I'm in. So overall, though, if you like this type of game, if you like mountain biking or snowboarding, if you like trick-based, like extreme sports games like Tony Hawk, I think this game's incredible. They added in other players. They added in collision. There's stunt races. There's full races. There's trick things to do. I think it's a great game. And one thing actually we didn't touch on it. I want to mention here real quick. You can literally play it how you want to. Sure, there's a story mode where they want you to go do the jetpack, want you to do the wingsuit, they want you to do the mountain bike. But let's just say, Shank, you just like the mountain bike and you have no desire to complete this game. You just want to get on and have fun. Everything you do in the game will give you a star. Win or lose, for participating, you get a star. And the more stars you get, the more things you unlock. So Huey and I were doing a versus match where you get a star for doing versus, and we just kept running the same one because the race was fun. We just kept doing it to get more stars that it kept awarding us because we were playing how we wanted to play. We were freely able to do whatever we wanted on the map and progress in the game and unlock stuff. Our story was walled off, yes, but we were able to unlock stuff. Considering you play a lot of other live service games that force you to do certain modes, Shank, how do you feel like that idea? Just do whatever.
Personally, the progression system in this game is actually, I think, probably one of my bigger complaints with the game, just because it's all over the place. It's completely unfocused. Like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing when. You're right, I can do whatever I want. But let's see. There's a progression system for each sport. There's your overall star system progression system. There's the contract system. There's the sponsor system. And I'm not sure like what I should be focusing on early game. So you're right. What I did end up doing was just doing a lot of mountain biking because that was my personal favorite type of sport. Like the downhill mountain bike, quick turns, that stuff.
Yeah.
So I just ended up just focusing on that. And granted, I was having a lot of fun. But as far as like, you're saying there's a story to this game, I didn't catch it at all. Like there's guys who call me on the phone and tell me that there's a new event to pop up, but
that's pretty much the entirety of the story.
What I was doing.
Yeah, no, I will say that is pretty much it. In these kinds of games, the crew and Steep, the story is, man, you're the best we've ever seen. As you go do this thing, you'll unlock another championship, and that's your story. Like that's the extent of it.
You're the best we've ever seen. You just came in 52nd place.
But you did it with style.
Yeah, you did it with style. No one else does it with style like your style.
Huey, what do you think of the progression system?
I mean, it doesn't bother me at all because I just do what I want to do. I'm not paying attention to the story. I could care less of the story. I know how it's going to end. I'm going to win the big event and I'm going to be the hero of Riders Republic. I'm going to be the person that whatever his face always wanted as a son or something weird.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but he's got a food truck.
It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me at that age, but it just lets me play the game how I want to play the game. I don't have to go do the next snowboard race if I want to go mountain bike. I can go mountain biking, and guess what? I unlock something. I could go snowboard and not touch the mountain biking. I unlock something.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel ever like I'm not doing anything. I'm always getting something.
Right. I guess if I could have one change to the game, and maybe this exists in the game and I just didn't see it because there's so many different menus. If there was a way for me to say, okay, well, you're focusing on mountain bike racing. This is the order you should do the mountain bike races in list of intensity, like how difficult each race is going to be. That way, like it feels like you're almost working your way through doing whatever you want to do. And then you got to travel in the open world to get to that race, but it'll just like highlight it on the map. Maybe that exists and I just didn't see it, but that would have helped me.
There is no direct thing. And actually, I think what you're looking for was in Crew 2. And it's actually what my biggest complaint with Crew 2 was. Because Crew 2, to make that path straightforward, gave you a playlist system so you could entirely avoid the open world if you wanted to. And that's what I hated about the Crew 2, because you pulled out what I found interesting about the Crew, which was this open world card game. And you decided to be like, okay, here's how the progression properly works. I personally feel with the style of this game, having it thrown at you the way that it just... because what you said at best, you were still having fun. And I feel like that's
absolutely.
the important thing. You were always having fun. And yes, you felt a little lost, like what's the next bike up race I'm supposed to go to? You still were having fun. And I think that's what a lot of these games end up missing out on. They're so focused on telling you where to go and what to do and how to do it. That's what I think I'm loving the most about Riders Republic, because it was literally like, here's 7 courses, like a 7-stage tutorial. You understand how the game works? Enjoy the area. That's it.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
So,
What do you guys think about the controls for the game? Did you have any issues with like laggy inputs, and like did you have any performance issues?
I
No, I
because it
don't think I
mimics
did.
steep controls. Yeah, Huey and I played steep, and it mimics those controls. So
Did you?
they made minor changes. Yeah, I don't know if you turn it on, but in the control scheme, there's steep. So I just turned it on steep.
I
didn't
didn't
know
turn that
that.
on. Maybe that would have helped. For me, the wingsuits and the jetpacks, as fun as it was to use them in the open world, when I was trying to race with them, they weren't responding as quickly as I needed them to.
Yeah.
It felt like there was like a half-second lag. So I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of laggy input, and I could make up for it on the bike because I could just like do a sharp, like almost like a handle brake turn. So
Yeah.
I was able to like recorrect.
Well, you drift a
but
lot
you
on the bike, and that's how you properly
Yeah.
bike. You just gotta slide into everything.
What do you think of the collision physics in the big team races?
I get it, but I hate it because
Yeah.
I'm going, and then all of a sudden somebody comes out of nowhere and like sideswipes me, and I miss the checkpoint and have to backtrack, and I go from 10th to 58th.
I
Yeah.
like the gimmick. I like the gimmick of the mass event races. And for those who don't know, that's a 64-person live person race. 64 people. I feel like this was their attempt to kind of capture the glory of Fall Guys, where it's just everyone messing with each other. So when I go into those, I do it with a goofy, like, all right, I'm going to just slam into Houston and throw him off the side of this. Yeah, that was me, Houston. That was me that threw you off.
I know. Wasn't going to name any names, but here we are.
Yeah, I threw you straight off that mountain. But I feel like if you try to go into them seriously, you're going to hate yourself. I do feel that's the case with that.
That's exactly how I felt about it too. It's just a fun like cluster of insanity for
Yeah.
2 straight minutes.
Yeah.
And if you go in there trying to seriously compete, you're gonna get toxic and you're gonna get salty. But if you go in there thinking like this is a Mario Party race or Fall Guys, like then you have fun with it. I think
Exactly.
it's a
That's
cool
how I
little
felt.
addition.
I think it's a good idea. I also like that you can't just queue into it. There's actually even a trophy to do 50 of them. And what you basically need to do is just kind of wait for it to let you get there. Just wait. Like you have to wait for it to come up and you queue into it with everyone. That way it's on a timetable. And for those who don't know, it's every 30 minutes they pop up. So every top of the hour and middle of the hour. So I think that's pretty much all the big features of this game. What do you guys think?
One more thing I wanted to mention: the shop,
What's that?
because it is an Ubisoft game. We all know they have shops in every single one of their games. Thoughts on it?
I think it's pointless.
I think too many cosmetics are put there that should be like part of the progression system.
No,
But
so
that's the
I
same
looked into
question
this. Shank, I actually looked into this because I know what you're about. So Huey worded it best. The shop contains the Fortnite style costumes. So the big T-Rex or the I'm a devil looking outfit. Traditional rider gear is unlocked by doing sponsorship missions. So if you get in-game cosmetics. On top of that, all your bikes and stuff are in-game. So I think the shop's terrible because they rotated in 5 weird and wacky outfits that no one wants to buy. And that's it. And you could buy helicopter passes, which I might buy one thing of just to complete some stuff. But once you've done everything that needs the helicopter, you're done with it. And you don't even need that because you have the jetpacks. I don't even know why I've been using the freebies. I could have just been saving them.
Because it's what you do.
Yeah. Well, I get the freebies. I haven't spent any money on those helicopter passes yet.
I know, but I know you've spent money on the costumes.
I did. Well, yeah, but the costumes I got were the realistic looking ones, but now apparently you can unlock them by just working for the sponsors.
Yeah.
Because one of the things in the game, Shank, is as you progress, you'll unlock sponsors. And as you do their specific missions, they give you their clothing.
Yeah, but see, to me, I like the wacky, fun-looking gear. And it's kind of disappointing that most of the wacky gear is all in the store.
I can see that, yeah.
I get that. But
That's the Fortnite angle, though.
at the same time, there's not really any mountain biking games out there. So to be able to actually get gear that you would wear mountain biking, I kind of like, where I don't want to be a giraffe on a mountain bike.
I mean, I throw on one goofy outfit to be like, Huey, look at me. And that was the end of that. Like, I swapped out of it. But yeah, I don't think the shop's terrible. It's not as egregious as some of them. It does feel in line with Valhalla, but even minus the XP boosters because those aren't in there. Unless they're going to be. I mean, it's Ubisoft.
It's only been out a
XP
week.
booster.
Give it some time.
Yeah. They got to wait for reviews like this to come out.
Exactly.
Right. It's not surprising that stuff is in there. That's just how it is now in games.
Yeah.
But you asked my opinion of it, and that's my opinion. I wouldn't
Yeah.
like
No,
to.
I mean,
No.
if you want the wacky outfits, I
I
completely
get that
what you're saying.
fully. I'm not saying your opinion's wrong.
I'll say it just so we have that, the devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Thanks. Thanks.
All right, guys. Well, we are absolutely PlayStation and Steam gamers. I hope you enjoyed this discussion about Riders Republic, and I hope you enjoyed the gameplay that's on screen right now. If not, Huey did it, not me. If you want to join the Absolute Army, press like, press subscribe, and make sure you join us right here by pressing that notification button so you know when our videos go live. Thank you, and we'll see you next time right here.
Goodbye.